That's what it is.
What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be checking out Two-Faced by Linkin Park. This is a sick track, super heavy, great comeback song for them, and it's got a lot of moving parts to it. So my goal for today is not only to give you some tips on how to play through all these parts, but also to understand the song form a little bit more and understand how to play through this track smoothly without getting tripped up and wondering like what's coming next. Yeah, let's jump into it with the first section of the song. I call it the quiet riff. It sounds like this. I've watched a few people play through this song and I noticed they'll do the 10th fret, but I really don't think that's correct. I am positive that he plays the 11th fret, which is a little bit weirder, but it's really cool. When you play this riff, you're going to want to kind of palm mute it throughout and play it sort of delicately. And I'm jumping up to the 13th fret there so we get a little bit of a softer note and that we can slide out of it. Also, at the end, we have a drastic change where it switches to power chords. And by that point, you're going to want to eliminate the palm muting entirely and just have like nice, loud, crunchy chords there. Next up, we've got the loud riff, which is very similar to our quiet riff. So one difference is you'll see I'm going to the A string for that hit instead of going up to the 13th fret on the low string. And this is just to get a little more of a crisp, defined sound for that octave hit. And I just feel like that's kind of what they played in the studio personally, just using my ear. The other difference is that these are all power chords and we are not palm muting, minus these two hits right there, right after the main figure up top. The open hits, you're going to try and palm mute those and then get rid of them right away. What happens next in the song is technically the verse, but it's made up of a identical repetition of our quiet riff and our loud riff. So it's, in guitar terms, it's just those same riffs happening again, but in terms of the overall song structure, it's verse 1. Next up, we've got the pre-chorus, which sounds like this. So at the end there, you can see I'm doing a little bit of a bend. You want to strum that last strum before you start bending. Make sure you get that down strum, and then towards the tail end of the note, give it a little bit of a pull. So this pre-chorus is super short, and it actually only happens this one single time in the whole song. It doesn't happen before any other chorus except this first chorus coming up. So speaking of the chorus, let's hear the main chorus riff, which sounds like this. Something to note there is that we're gonna depend heavily on this up strum. You have this muted down strum and then this kind of accented up strum. So you want to make sure you get the hang of that strumming pattern. Aside from that one up strum, you want to kind of try and lean mostly into this down strum heavy motion. So we play that main chorus riff 3 times, and then we do our chorus variation, which sounds like this. So it's essentially just a rep of the chorus, but with our main riff kind of mixed into there at the tail end of it. We then get a second verse, which is identical to the first verse. You're going to do your quiet riff and your loud riff. And then we actually go right into a second chorus, which is, again, identical to our first chorus. The next new section of the song is the pre-breakdown riff, which sounds like this. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but feel free to move your hand back and forth a bit to make that a little more comfortable. It doesn't have to be entirely in the fingers. I have seen some people playing it with the open A string, but again, I was listening really closely and I just do not think that is the correct note. I'm sure it's this one. You're gonna do that riff 4 times in a row, and then we go into our breakdown riff, which sounds like this. So for this riff, again, we're leaning on those up strums. You wanna get down, up, down, up. Another thing that's a little odd here is going from the 6th fret to the 1st fret so quickly. Feel free to just isolate those 2 notes, and it should be a down up on the right hand. But yeah, just practice that a couple times until it starts to feel more comfortable on its own, and then insert it into the riff if it's feeling weird. The structure here is a little weird because we do that breakdown riff 3 times in full, and then we move on to the breakdown variation, which is this little piece that sounds like this. Tying this whole section together was a little weird at first, but again, just remember, you're doing your main breakdown riff 3 times, and then you're doing this little extra piece at the end only once. So that is what gets us into our final chorus here. The final chorus is made up of the chorus riff that we played before. We're gonna do our main chorus riff 3 times, just like we normally do, but instead of ending it with that chorus variation riff, we have a new extended chorus section to learn that sounds like this. I have the tabs on screen, but just so you can kind of understand what's happening here, we play that first open hit, we go to our octave, and then once we hit this 5th fret, we're kind of starting a loop. That section, 5th fret, 3rd fret, octave, that little section, you want to highlight that in your brain as the section that you're looping, and you're going to loop that 3 times. 2nd time. 3rd time. And then once we get through that 3rd rep, we get back to that main kind of riff thing. So again, a little bit of a weird form here, but you got that main chorus riff 3 times, and then you have this chorus extension bringing you into a final outro riff, which is just our loud riff at like a half length. So they keep it nice and short at the end. They get out as quickly as they came in, and that's the song. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you have fun playing through this song. Again, practice it in full a lot. Try to get the hang of each section, of course, but make sure to run through the song all the way through to try and get the hang of how this all goes together. I'll include a song map in the description. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you on the next one, and happy playing.